Excuse me. Namaste. Thank you. I appreciate you tuning in. Share 52 minutes of Psychic Frank's Mystery School. Um, okay, where to start? I've strewn everything all over here. Okay, first, thank you, of course, and hope you have your pencil and papers handy. Because a lot of people like to take notes, and then tomorrow afternoon the show will go up on YouTube for you all with computers there. Um, and thank you for supporting my efforts here. Okay, so so my last show, I really have to remind myself, some people who watch these shows, take me very literally, and I was not paying too much attention to my words, which I work on doing. And I said Donald Trump is the Antichrist. And someone, a fan of the show, emailed me here at Psychic Frank's Mystery School without the apostrophe S. The apostrophe S is for the YouTube show, and just without the apostrophe S, just FRANKS is the Mystery School. That's my email address. And this person, I don't even know if it was a man or a woman, said they liked my show and they wanted to know if it was true that Donald Trump was the Antichrist. He's an Antichrist wannabe. No, he's not. I've been in touch. Trust me, I believe there is an Antichrist energy and planet Earth. But the Christ energy, the Buddha energy, the sacred high energy is the winner. But there's a lot of people who, what His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, non-cooperation with evil as much a duty as cooperation with good. And that word cooperate, people don't understand. Cooperate means don't give them money. When you support these people, or you find, like that Joe Olstein character, a lot of people were defending him, and but he's in his money bubble, and I don't care what goes on to him. So I wanted to just clear that out for people that, Donald Trump, no, he's not the Antichrist. The Antichrist, I think, is a lot more clever than Donald Trump. But he's definitely courting the dark side. But then again, if he didn't exist, we'd have to invent him, because he's just precisely what we need for these paradigm changes that are going on. And before I get into first of all, in one word, September is all about recovery, with all these planets in Virgo right now. I'm here the 2nd and the 4th Thursday of every month, and then on Saturday nights at 7:30 on channel 29, if you have Comcast, you'll be able to see me and the show exactly, and then they'll all be on YouTube. So tell your friends and press subscribe, and then when I do shows, you'll get them. You'll get a notice from it. Okay, so today is the 14th. The sun's in Virgo, 5 degrees, Venus still in Leo. On the 19th, around 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:15 on Tuesday evening, the 19th of September this month, just before the new moon, the Virgo new moon, which is all about health. It's all about our health. Getting into our bodies, and our bodies are our temples, and it's time to clean the temple out. We're going to talk about that. Mars too is in Virgo. That happens every 2 years for 2 months. Mercury's direct and will enter Virgo too, right? Mercury's already on the 9th. Mercury, Saturday the 9th, the evening of the 9th, Mercury went into Virgo. Virgo likes perfection. We're going to talk about that. The Virgo, well, I said we're going to talk about all this Virgo energy, but first I wanted to mention, if you watch my show, I met Louise Hay a few times back in the early 80s, mid 80s, when she would be at Fort Mason. not Fort Funston. There's no place for assemblies there. Yeah, she was, and I'd pay like $10, $15, get there at 7:30 and leave at 10:30 or something. And for a few hours, she would fill that auditorium up. And I was most taken with her the first time I met her. Is she passed away last week. She was almost made it to 100. That's a nice long life. And she and I was sitting there with, I remember I was with my friend Lola and another friend of mine, and I said, I saw this woman going up and down all these aisles, shaking hands and introducing herself to everyone. And then I realized that was Louise. You know, she thanked everybody for personally coming. Then she got up there and she just boom, just didn't pull any punches. She started talking about when she had cancer, when she was diagnosed with cancer. So anyway, her story is amazing. And she wrote this book. I've given away, I don't know, 100 copies over the last 30-something years. It's from A to Z, anything that could go wrong with you. But there's always a big but with me. There's like, I'm a Scorpio, and I'm proud of it. And we don't like things that, we like to solve mysteries, things that don't fit, bother me. And I know they bother a lot of other people. And what I don't get is, Louise Hay, and I cut our healing teeth during the AIDS epidemic in the late 70s, early 80s. I think it was the early 80s when it hit its peak. And that's just when I got out of rehab and sobered up and realized I was a healer. And that's when I met Louise. And I took her by the arm during these breaks, because I was only in my 30s then, and I was pretty gutsy, because I wanted to talk to her healer to healer. And she knew, during the break, a lot of guys went around, men and women got around her. And then she knew I wanted to talk to her because I had these burning questions. I needed to talk to her, and I just literally took her by the arm, and we went off into a corner. And for a good 10 minutes, we talked about basically cannabis. And I said, I just got out of rehab. I had the spiritual experience, and they're trying to tell me cannabis is like bad news for me. And she admitted she was, into cannabis. She says, well, my thing is moderation. And then we talked a lot and then, we just had this understanding. And then something happened along the way. Something happened along the way. What used to be happy got sad. I don't know how that song goes, but, I'm all about Motown. But, next thing I know, I noticed something on Hay House. Louise was very proud of, back when she got this book, her first book published, it was a little pamphlet. And in the 70s, women weren't getting books published. And I think this was before desktop publishing, or, so anyway, she was a science of mind. She's all a science of mind. She's all about science of mind. I could have been a minister of science of mind. I don't like labels. I didn't want to be called reverend anything. But that's another story. And so Louise Hay, was teaching science of mind. And back then she said to her minister, I want to get this book published. I wrote a book on metaphysical healing, and he said, why, by all means, yes. So he was very supportive of doing that. So then she saw him a few months later. And he asked her, how was that going? And she said, oh, yeah, I had 2,500 copies. And he said, what? What, are you crazy? Why are you throwing, but she ended up, her story, she loves this story, how she drove around, donated them to all these churches, and then, and there's the book still going strong. So the Louise Hay, I knew, even though we only met a few times, it was definitely kindred spirits, and we were both healers. And at the time, Brownie Mary was getting arrested for the healing cannabis brownies she was making for the people with AIDS, and the drugs would make them so they were dying of malnutrition, and the only thing that gave them an appetite and lifted their spirits was cannabis. And they warned her, and that if she didn't quit it, they were going to put her in jail, and she didn't quit it, and they put her in jail. She's one of our saints. My Axis of Love family keep her memory alive. By the way, look at her Axis of Love on SS Commons TV schedule, and watch Denise Dory, Liberal Buzz. She's on the first and the third Thursday at 6 right here on Channel 76. And she keeps you up on the cannabis thing. What's going on with cannabis is appalling. They're having these closed behind doors meetings. They don't want to know anybody about medical cannabis because I think it's easier to stab the people in the back if you don't know what they look like. So thank you, Ed Lee, and these closed. I don't want to spoil the show, but yeah, we need your help. Call City Hall and tell them we want the medical cannabis community to be represented at these meetings. So Louise, as I said, next thing you know, the Louise I know, I remember she would say, "Spend your last dollar," and shows the universe how much faith I have in the supply the universe has for me. I trust the process of life. And then, okay, 30 years go by. Next thing you know, Louise, I imagine, was approaching her late 80s. And Susie Orman, this woman now on PBS, under the Hay House umbrella, Wayne Dyer, I mean, Greg Braden, all these amazing people, you know. Well, Wayne Dyer, rest his soul, he wrote one book that was worth anything, and that was Your Erroneous Zones. And then he made a fortune the rest of his life, got married, has like 30-something kids. Yeah, he was an amazing guy. Just leave it, fascinating individual. But all these people, I guess, just didn't want to go against the pharmaceutical community, the pharmacies, or nobody would say anything in public about cannabis. And it's healing. Now it's common knowledge. Cannabis is the cure for cancer. We just got to get it legal, and I want people to be able to grow their own. It's just such a healing thing. It cures Alzheimer's. I mean, it's just the most healing herb we can do. It's a wonderful habit to cultivate, and quit drinking. You know, alcohol is just terrible. So, you know, all these people, and I read all their books, and I like Greg Braden a lot, but all these people are accomplished heroes, and they know deep in their soul cannabis is good medicine, but they won't say a word about it. And these cannabis, to be a Louise Hay certified practitioner and get the certification, there's these I looked on the computer today, they were all over the Florida, like Coral Gables and these upscale places in Florida and Texas and Orange County. So, you know, these are not your pro-cannabis people, you know. So I don't know what they did. And then to top it off for me, just the year before Oprah quit her show, Louise Hay, they took her out there, very statuesque, tall woman. I had to look up at her. She was a model. And even in her old age, mature age, she still had those high cheekbones. She's I love her. And then there was Maria Shriver and Oprah, two people anti-cannabis. And then I think they like talked right through her. They let her say like 2 sentences, not even, it was 2 words. And I was like, wow, what did they do to Louise? No energy to Louise. They drugged her. I don't know, maybe they brainwashed her. You know, who knows? We live in a world now where people die for a lot less than a Hay House. So I don't know what's going on with Hay House, but this Susie Orman screams at people, you can't afford to buy that. And how could that be under the Louise Hay? That doesn't it's like a train wreck. It doesn't go with the Louise Hay I used to listen to. One day I just moved into Hayes Valley. This was in the late 80s, mid 80s there, late 80s. Right after the earthquake, 89. And I had a dog, and I was working all day long, and then coming home and studying at the mystery school, and then going to these Louise Hay lectures. And I opened the mailbox, and there's the PG&E saying to me that they were coming up in 10 days. And that was the cherry on top, because I had been having a really rotten day, and I was only in my 30s, you know. So I ran upstairs, and I, did what I had to do, and then hopped up to Fort Mason, and I was sitting in the audience there, with some friends, and Louise comes out, and and all of a sudden she says, when you open your mailbox and see a bill, do you bless it? Do you thank the people who work for that company for providing this service for you? Or do you curse it? and I was like slouching down in my seat. It was like she could see me. So she really is a psychic lady. Anyway, she was like a kid, you know, and actually, John, I won't mention his last name, an artist, G. Lives downstairs. Used to live on the base apartment of my friend Mikey, who lives on Haight Street to this day. Haight and Masonic, and Louise would double park her car because at the end he really suffered with AIDS. He died a very long, painful death, and she would double park in front of his apartment building and run in there and give him tapes that she would make personally for him. I have one of those. It's like the holy grail. So I love Louise, and don't please interpret this as me bad-mouthing her, but something's wrong. Something's fishy in Denmark, you know. Something's rotten in Denmark. You know, it doesn't fit with this Hay House. Except, you know, who isn't impressed by by Oprah? And Oprah is definitely not a. Her experience with the healing community and my experience as a healer in the gay community and with Louise and all these people, we know. You know, but a lot of people, it's big money now. Look at that guy from Family Feud now. He's worth $100 billion or something. Yeah, being anti-cannabis is really paying off for a lot of people. I don't know how these people sleep at night. So anyway, Louise Hay is gone, but I think when she reached the other side, she looked in the mirror and saw herself as a happy young, I think her daughter, her adopted daughter, might have inherited the business. I don't know what's going on. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I know everything I do is influenced by that woman, and I'll always remember before what she was like, and then it'll just be one of those mysteries about how Louise could have given her name to Hay House. Anyway, what she said is, I'll leave you with this wonderful quote. I'm sure she would approve me reading this. It says, "I do not fix problems. I fix my thinking, and the problems fix themselves." That was the Louise I know. But I would start, I would even correct my teacher. I would say to her, I'd start by deleting the word problem and fill it with challenges. The more you say problems, it's all about the word, the spoken word, you know, it's all about the spoken word. Words cast spells, that's why it's called spelling. And then we just had the 9/11 celebration, 16 days, not a celebration, but, you know, celebrating the lives that were cut so short, and that tragedy. And it was brought to mind that it was September 10th, the day before 9/11, Donald Rumsfeld went on TV and said there was a 2.3 trillion with a T, trillion, close to $3 trillion rounded off, missing money. The Pentagon just went missing. And then the very next day, a plane dove into the exact part of the Pentagon where all those files were stored. This, it makes you think about it. Gives you something to think about. And not Obama, nobody's even talking about this. And yet they're not happy with that. And if that wasn't enough, how many billion they borrowed from Social Security and never paid it back. And Halliburton, you know, made a lot of money, a sinful amount of money there. So. And they're still raking it in, you know, they're still raking it in. So, and then they have the nerve to want to cut all these programs for humanity in the world. You know, it's like, man, that takes a pair of brass ones, if you know what I'm saying there. Children, thank you for watching. Tom Robbins, one of my favorite guys. I love Another Roadside Attraction, Still Life with Woodpecker. I didn't like as much, but because I am another roadside attraction. That's why I'm so fond of Tom Robbins. And he says, I got some of his quotes here. Disbelief in magic can force a poor soul to believe in government and business. Disbelief in magic can force a poor soul to believing in government and business. Now we got to start taking our power back Yeah, so, you know, Michael Hastings, that young man, investigative reporter, a few years ago announced to all his friends the very next day he was going to expose the Pentagon and for this like a big, big crime. And his car was blown up into a tree. Um, I think mostly all the investigators, reporters don't want to touch anything to do with the Pentagon's corruption. Um, as a matter of fact, I was talking to one of my BFFs, Elizabeth. We've been best friends since the mystery school 40 years ago, and I was running my show by her, and I was saying a few things I wanted to throw out there to you all, and I mentioned this about the Pentagon, just missing $3 trillion. And she said, "Wow, Frank, we don't want to lose you. What are Gabby and I going to do? They'll kill you. You can't say that stuff like anybody's going to pay attention to this cable access TV show." But besides, I'd rather die for something than live for nothing. I mean, excuse me. I mean, I'm going to live to be 120. I feel that's a nice average. That's what the Tibetan Buddhists believe. And I've met a lot of these guys. I learned a lot. These monks who taught me a lot of this stuff were somewhere between 100 and death. And they look like they were in their 50s, 60s, you know. Yeah, the average lifespan is 120. Got to get rid of all the bad habits. You know, the first 28 years of your life, and first 29 years until you have your first Saturn return. Oh, excuse me, I got a call. Hello.
Oh, hi. I was calling in to see if you could tell me my future.
Sure can. Let me get a pen here. Thank you for calling. Okay, we get a fresh piece of paper. I didn't bring my ephemeris, but I brought my tarot cards, and I could do your numerology and pretty much figure out. Who am I speaking with?
Rosemary Hine.
You don't have to give me the blank. Okay, Rosemeria?
Yeah, or you could just do Rose.
Rose.
People call
Okay,
me
first
Rose.
vowel O, Rose, very strong-willed. Some people might call that stubbornness, but they don't get it, you know. But I like strong will. See, your first vowel is instant information. Like, say, give me a name of somebody you're close to.
Kip.
First vowel I.
Yeah, first vowel is I.
Yeah, very sensitive, highly emotional. Sensitivity is almost acute. Where E's, first vowel E. E is all about the senses. If it feels good, sounds good, tastes good, E's all for it. Always a very strong will. So if somebody wants to get on your good side, they should applaud you and say, "Oh, I always admired your willfulness and your strong will," and that would make you very happy. Okay, what's your birthday, please?
July 21st, 1982.
1982. Okay, so your 21st is a cusp between, I don't have my ephemeris with me, but it's the cusp between,
Cancer and Leo.
yeah, so what do you call yourself?
A Cancer.
Okay, so you're the very end, but you do have a lot of Leo stuff going on. Okay, so your day and month, so there's that 3, 21 is 3, 3 and 7 is 1. So self-expression is very important to you on a daily basis, and also your originality. Nobody does it quite like you. Whatever it is you bring to the party, it's yours alone. You have your own little unique, special person. Okay, 1982 is 9, 9, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, you're a 3. You're somewhere. Somebody is waiting to publish you. Yellow, gold, always have yellow, a little piece of yellow around you. You're probably really good on computers too, aren't you?
No, I'm not that great at computers.
Well, you're probably, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 35.
Okay, so you had your second Saturn, you had your first Saturn return. So now it's all about your Jupiter return is happening. You've got Jupiter in Scorpio, so Jupiter is going to be in Scorpio for 13 months starting the middle of October. So Jupiter is going to bring you a lot of gifts. Self-expression, working with your hands. For some reason, I'm getting a real fondness of music. I mean, not just listening, but creating music. Are you doing anything musically? Am I off base there?
Well, I did study opera at one point, but I actually do stand-up comedy.
Far out. Good for you. I met Margaret Chow years ago. I was doing readings on
Oh,
Guerrero
wow.
Street at my friend's flower shop, and it was a gift shop. And one morning I look up, and there's Margaret Cho, and this woman that had just gotten beaten up by a girlfriend of hers, that got beat up by her boyfriend. And I ended up doing this amazing healing on her. And then as we were leaving, she wanted to get her girlfriend home. She had been through a rough night. She had just gotten out of the hospital emergency room. So uh,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
she did
Yeah,
mention
she's
that.
amazing. I
Yeah,
really like
and
Margaret
I
Cho.
was like, God, I'd love to meet her again. That was in the early '80s there. Okay, so let me just. Okay, so 2017 is one. We add that one to your day and month. 7 and 3 is one. So this is an 11 year for you. Things go in 9 year cycles. So last year you um, planted seeds. This year they germinate. It's a very inner year. If you go after anything like money, fame, fortune, you push it away. But if you allow yourself to be, let your inner, roll away the stone, let your inner Buddha out, Okay, say your first name 3 times, please. And then take a nice healing breath through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And when it feels right, say your first name 3 times.
Rose, Rose, Rose.
Okay, Rose. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, that ephemeris is like, a good 5 pounds, and I bring it and then nobody calls, and I didn't bring it today and you called. But that's okay. At least we'll get something done. And you can always call next week. I'll bring it. I'll be here the 28th, I think it is. Let me see. Yeah, I'll be here the 28th. So call again, and then I'll tell you how my ephemeris. I can tell you where your plan is. But just for now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, your last life was a short one, and it was definitely had to do with music. It had to do with music, especially cultural music. So there is this past life stuff. Actually, I think you've lived longer this right now than you ever have. This is. You come in when civilizations are really going through paradigm changes. I feel you need to write. Everything's telling me you're not using your hands. Well, you store a lot of energy in your hands. I want you to go like this a lot, especially if you get off the phone or you're dealing with somebody that's stressful. Then when they walk away, just go like this, not in front of them, but you know what I mean? Just go in the ladies' room, rinse your hands off, and
Mm-hmm.
just, you'd be surprised because a lot of threes carry. And you could look up a 3 life path in numerology. Google it up, numerology, because you're always going to be a 3 life path. Uh,
Oh, okay.
2 and 1
That's
is
very
3.
interesting.
Yeah, but this particular year though is an 11 year. So next year you see the sprouts come up of the seeds you planted last year.
Oh, okay.
So and actually this is an 11 month and an 11 year. So yeah, this is. Now, what's going on with children? You either had children or you're gonna have. What's going on with? Yeah, you're a mother.
Uh, Not really, no.
Oh, okay. Because I shot the Empress card here, and sometimes
I
these
mean,
are
yeah. I've been involved in many children's lives, but
okay. Yeah, because there's a close connection to the Empress. Well, she knows her source is the Blessed Mother, provides everything for her. So Cancer people are like actresses, What did Orson Welles say? Never marry an actress because they never stop acting,
yeah, that's true.
But you like to fit in. You
Yeah,
like to
that's
fit in.
true. Yeah.
You could take on the whole. You could blend in wherever you want to, but then okay. So let's see what else we get. Yeah, I do see information coming in for you right now. Working with your angels. Do it all the time. You only do it once in a while. Get on a. It's part of your. Yeah, 2 years ago things ended. You got detangled, whether you wanted to detangle yourself or not. And now, get ready for all the gifts Jupiter's going to be bringing into your Jupiter. You're born with Jupiter in Scorpio, so
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Yeah, Jupiter's going to give you more whatever you focused on. Like Louise Hay, I was just talking about Louise. She says in one of her books, "You Could Heal Your Life." You should, or The Power Within You. That's a good book of hers. How she says the universe loves symbolic gestures, and just by throwing your arms open in the morning and saying, "I'm open to receive everything the universe has to bestow upon me." And people are afraid to do that because if they do, they might get something horrible. Dot, dot, dot. And they probably will, unless they get whatever is attached to gloom or doom in their subconscious, gotten rid of, Like Buddha said, no one could harm us more than our own unguarded thoughts, So, yeah, you're going to be eternally 29, eternally 29. That's your soul age. Did you ever have your chart done? You know your rising sign?
Oh, gosh. No, I have had it done, but I forget.
What time were you born?
10 a.m.
10 o'clock a.m. And where was that?
New York City.
All right. Okay, I'll get your chart done, and then I'll pop it in the computer, 7/21/82, and then call me on the 28th, and I'll make a note. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, this is what it took you 30 years to build, and now, boom, big changes. So that's why it's important to keep your margins permeable. Like no dotted lines, no thick margins around you. Wake up teachable, and then Pluto don't have to make you teachable. I'm connecting you. I'm opening a portal in your crown chakra. Right, tap your forehead area now. Yeah, tap your head during the day, because a lot of day in the material world we get all consumed with base chakra stuff. The first three chakras: sex, money, power, and then it's time to clear our energies, and because listen to what's going on with the Virgo new moon. I'm reading it anyway. Might as well read it now for you, and then we'll finish up with the cards. It says the Virgo new moon invites us to call our power back into our bodies. Get focused on the here and now reality and take steps to perfect and heal what's right in front of us. Virgo is the priestess, and this new moon presents an opportunity to tend to the temple of our bodies and our environment. This is Emily Trinkus in the Mountain Astrologer. Perfect, like Charlie Parker said, first perfect your instrument, then just play. The new what's in front of us. Yeah, see, souls aren't comfortable in the now. They like the past and the future. They're all about the past and the future, but not so much with the present. But the throat chakra rules it all. So when you say, "I'm taking the helm of this ship now," and remember, free will is not an illusion. The angels know that, and they will intervene in our lives only when we ask them to. So get into the habit, like when you go to sleep tonight, as we approach this Virgo new moon, surround yourself with the love and light of the Holy Spirit, and then ask your angels to remove whatever attachment might be hiding out in your the gloom and doom in the nooks and crannies of your subconscious, and gently and lovingly release them into the nothingness from where they came. Because you have a lot of souls around you, like kindred spirits, like I'm not going to go through the whole list of relatives, but gentle, wonderful spirits who loved you, and they survived their death, they graduated on their journey, but you're not really around when you go to sleep at night. It's sort of you're commanding your soul to, like, Calgon, take me away type of thing, And so no, say I choose to stay earthbound tonight. See, everything is about higher education, higher this, higher that. No, we came in to have an earthly experience. That's where we're going to be. We're all mystics. Yeah, you've got let me see. You're in the right place. Okay, we'll give you that. And whatever you got out of 2 years ago, give yourself credit for that. Now you're building a whole, like Louise used to say, you wouldn't go into a dumpster, God forbid, to make tonight's dinner. Don't go into old mental garbage to come up with today's reality. Yeah, I like that you sent a lot back to the cosmic kitchen romantically, because you realize, oh, that's not my order. Yeah, I wanted this, but I didn't want that, So you got, in between boyfriends or girlfriends or love affairs or whatever, again, Louise would say, don't pray for a new lover or involvement, but pray for a happy happy experience, a wonderful, joyful experience. Because your Jupiter's going to be bringing you a lot of whatever you're focused on. So I would focus on, I am, what's my favorite one? I am the love and the beauty of life in full expression. Remember, 500
that's right.
times is not too many times to repeat a new affirmation. And when you do your, like Louise says, when you do your affirmations in the mirror, it's like doing them on steroids. You know, it has nothing to do with vanity. But when you look in the mirror in the morning and you say, you are, I love you, Rose. You are, and give yourself lots of kisses and remind yourself you're going to be your best friend through eternity, and you're helping yourself, and you're creating in this life everything you ever dreamt of having. So yeah, I see the star card. You know, you got not too much to cleanse. I think 2 years ago, whatever happened, it probably wasn't pleasant, but you got, you know, you threw a lot of old negative illusions that have authority out. And now it's like nobody throws confetti in the air saying, oh, I'm having such a wonderful 11 year. No, 11's hard on the nervous system. But trust me, as soon as your 3 year clicks in, and your year goes from spring to spring, so don't be discouraged if on January 1st you're still feeling a lot of that. What happens is there's overlapping of your 11 and that 3 energy. But by July of next year, all kinds of new things. Remind yourself, you've got a real attachment to how things go, you know. Now the universe, just trust. I trust the universe and let go of control. You know, all you can really do is control your thoughts into being optimistic. Cynicism is intellectual treason. And I'm telling everybody, yeah, where we are now is a hideous experience, but it's through this we're going to get the paradigm changes. So let's get gratitude going on. And because are you in a relationship now? Because I see by July someone coming in for you, and they ain't poor.
Oh, yeah, I'm in a relationship right now.
Okay, well, something's going to go on then for the both of you in July of next year, so don't give up hopes. I think it's the partner you got is something. What's their birthday?
Oh, July 13th,
Oh boy,
1969.
what was that? 69?
Yeah, that's correct.
Uh-huh. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So that person is in a 3 year right now. 2 years ago they planted seeds. This July they might have seen something come up that they planted. 7, 8. And that's a 9 life path though. That's all about the goddess energy there. You know, this is a person who came in to complete. So some of the best love affairs take several lifetimes to unfold. I don't know who told you you couldn't write, but you believed it. I believe you are. Self-expression is very important for you. So even in a job, you've got to have a creative outlet. I've been doing this like 40 years. I've never met a 3 that wasn't involved in music or some form of self-expression. And especially in opera, you use your hands as, you know, part of, you know, your expression there. Yeah, I could see, you know, the whole thing about having to survive in the city. It's all about, you know, but like when people say, Frank, I'm living on a fixed income. I was like, well, who fixed it? You know, that's why I love Louise Hay. She realized through cancer, you know, that it was all about taking responsibility for your life, and cancer isn't a death sentence. It just reminds you to let the past go. Okay, well, you're going to call me on the 28th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, thank you so much. Very interesting.
yeah, make a note on your calendar because I'm definitely going to pop that information. New York City at 10 a.m. on July 21st, and okay, no, I was just closing up the energy, and I saw, yeah, the good thing about your partner there is they got a lot of taste to the nines, you know, they like living to the nines, so, you know, it's nice to have somebody around who appreciates living life to the nines. But you just got to remind them that when they are realizing they're being tested, which is a 9 if they get it from every angle most of their existence, is that this is happening for me, not to me. That changes it all, you know?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But no, your cup is right side up. I would go out immediately and get something yellow. The sooner you bring a little yellow into your life, the sooner you'll see what I'm talking about. Your life just really is craving the color yellow. It's going to open a lot of doors
Interesting.
for you. And before you go to sleep at night, go into the school tonight, release the day, put all your troubles at the end of your bed, your challenges at the end of the bed. And okay, you're all filled up with the love and light of the
Okay.
Holy Spirit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll talk to you in a couple of
Yeah.
weeks.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye. Yeah, I was convinced I couldn't read until my 30s because growing up I was told I was stupid and I believed it. Now I'm an avid reader. I chew books up. Let's see what else we get here. Every dictator that ever took over any country always attacked the news first. Yeah, as I was saying before I got that call, with all this Virgo energy, and then I got Robert Mueller's chart somewhere right here. Oh, here's something. I live in Hayes Valley on Linden Alley, right between Octavia and Laguna. They're having a party, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. this Saturday, the 17th, Sunday, September 17th, excuse me. Cara, Vita, and Sal. How about art, cookout, party? Yeah, it's going to be a fun thing. I'll be there, doing chakra alignments. Yeah, visit Hayes Valley, and these are true. Cara Vita from she a wonderful, talented woman. Sings and does poetry stuff. She's on the Friday night shows here a lot, Cara Vita. So I promised her and Sal I would mention this 5 to 10. So come to Hayes Valley, Linden Alley, and have some fun. And meet me and Cara Vita and a lot of talented people, a lot of old talent, old from the old days. Yeah, we're still around. We're still around, most of us. I'm so lucky that they're still in my neighborhood. Okay, so there was something. Here it is. Here's the October-November issue of the Mountain Astrologer, and this Leah said something very interesting. The traditional ruler and modern rulers of Scorpio, Mars and Pluto, form a trine. That's a handshake between two warriors, promising to watch each other's back. We feel, that's going to be interesting. Before we get away from that, I wanted to mention that what's going on is Venus and Mars will both be 19 degrees Virgo, exactly. I'm like white on rice. Venus and Mars, 19 Virgo. And that's, what does this say here? One second. Okay, it says, Mars meets his lover. This is Leah Whitehouse in the Martin Astrologer here. This is the October-November issue 2017. Get them at Rainbow Grocery or subscribe to it. The traditional, on October, the full moon on Aries on October 5th, as Mars meets his lover Venus in a conjunction. However, both are approaching a square to Saturn, so the path to true love is unlikely to run smooth. The full moon, too, is the Pluto is opposing the Sun and Mercury in Libra. Forcing the issue rather than talking about it may be a default for impatient Aries. So how this is affecting Donald Trump, it's falling right on Robert Mueller's chart. So in October 5th, we could start. I did say by October. There's already pools going on, lotteries going on all over Europe, Northern Europe, wherever they gamble in Europe, and even Las Vegas, there's pools. And it's not a matter of if, it's when and how. I believe the money's on Allenwood. It's a federal prison. He'll be known as Donnie Two Scoops in Allenwood Federal Prison. And I hope they bang his head as they put it into the prison. No, they will. We're compassionate. Remember, it's all about frequencies and vibrations. So keep your good vibrations happening. Don't throw away your spirituality. Don't like Dr. Bless his soul, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, don't let anybody make you hate, make you stoop so low as to hate. A lot of people think, like Gandhi said, we think it's hate, but it's fear. Yeah, these people are fearful. We have to make our courage bigger than our fear. We have to make our courage bigger than our fear now. So it's so yes, with this happening all over Robert Mueller's Chiron, 16, that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 3 degrees, that's a conjunction. So you definitely can rest assured Donald's self-destruct. He's going to leave in disgrace. Let's see what the cards say about that. Yeah, this has been an appalling, but it's been a rite of passage, like without painful emotion. Thank God everything he's done can be undone. You know, I was reading something by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and he was saying how reason we're born, according to Tibetan Buddhists, is learn happiness, you know, and to end suffering. That's why Buddha created the philosophy of Buddhism. He didn't want to create a religion, I don't think, just like Jesus didn't want to create Christianity. I am at peace just where I am. I accept my good, knowing all my needs and desires will be fulfilled. Breathe that in. Remember, get that attitude of gratitude going, you know. It's easy to get on the pity pot these days, you know, and poor me, poor me. No, be blessed. A bodhisattva is someone with a pure heart, impeccable intentions. Most people feel like, you know, unless they have some education on spirituality, if you got a pure heart, it's okay. You know, just, you know, make your deeds fall into religion. You know, as I was saying earlier before the phone rang, the first 28 years of my life, up until my early 30s, I was burning the candle at both ends. I was just, I'm laughing because it was so hideous. I don't even, you know, that person doesn't exist anymore. I had a lot to transcend. I had a total lot to transcend. In my early 20s, I remember seeing a doctor out in Webster Street, and I was walking around with a cane, and I had, in my late 20s, and he said, Jesus Christ, Frank, you're only 27 already, you're walking with a cane. I had gout so bad, and it's like crystallized, it comes from drinking. It comes from drinking. Pills and liquor will do it to you. And I see these guys on the bus all the time, younger than me, you know, home, you know, medicating, and I know, if they would quit the sauce, that heals, it goes away, you know. You know, and cigarette, tobacco, boy, you know, if you're gonna smoke, just pick up your butts, because they end up in the water and animals eat them. You know, it's, you know, good habits. That's what's killing us, is bad habits. And be your own doctor, you know. And whenever you get a diagnosis, if it's a hard diagnosis like cancer, from then on, don't ever own it. Don't say, my this, my that. You know, as I said, a lot of times we have modern day curses. People put curses on each other. They say they love, you know, and somebody's having a more bad time. And instead of saying, you know, just, I don't know, just to hear themselves talk, they say, oh, and did you hear about poor so-and-so? She's got 3 kids now. And like the woman's got out of a bad relationship, you could say, oh, she gets a chance now to find her true self, and the Lord's going to provide all. I just know it. You know, it takes a schooled imagination, and people are lazy. You know, and I think there's some kind of a thrill, a sadistic thrill, in seeing people, you know, have. I don't get it. I don't even want to go there. You know, the real evolution is the evolution of consciousness, is what's going on. The happiness is an inside job. We all know that. Yeah, remember, when you believe it, you'll see it. A lot of people got it backwards. No, well, they say the opposite. When I believe it, when I'll see it, Frank. No, you know, you're never going to see it then. You got to start walking around. You see things in windows you can't afford right this particular moment, but you don't know what the future's going to bring. Honor your unique gift. Whatever it is, we all come with something marketable, Like I say, that with all this Virgo energy, if you're ever going to use the, like it says, get back in our body, take back our power. You know, just watching I think the advertising agency should have criminal charges. There's this one about heart medicine, aspirins for your heart, and they say it doesn't matter what you eat, it doesn't matter what your diet or exercise, as long as you take this one aspirin. I mean, common sense knows it's all about what you eat. It's all about exercise. Your brain cells will renew themselves, but you know what keeps them from renewing themselves? Stress. And I think there's a conspiracy going on with people just really stressing this. They're getting, you know, stress is big business for the healthcare industry. Big pharma now kills more people than illegal drugs. Yeah, Bernie Sanders, for every major mistake America has made in the past 30 years, there's a video of Bernie Sanders trying to stop it. We're not too late to get Bernie back. Yeah, Neptune's dissolving boundaries, physical and metaphysical. The veil is very, very thin now, so all you have to do is wrap yourself around the light and love of the Holy Spirit. Stay earthbound, work with your guides, ask for guidance, keep a dream journal. Always the universe loves symbolic gestures. I've said that several times during this show. Keep a pencil and paper near your bed and work with the images. There's a great book I use for translating dreams, but I don't need any help anymore. I've been doing it so long, but it's Gong Hee Fort Choi, written in the 20s. Well, we've only got a minute left here. Got the Lover's card. I love that. Yeah, the universe abhors a void. So as you're using this Virgo energy to clean your house, your physical and metaphysical house, getting rid of all the negative illusions that might have authority over you, and then quickly replacing them. Yeah, isn't it interesting how nobody in the media, investigative reporters, want to talk about Michael Hastings? Of course not. When you got $3 trillion, human life ain't worth compared to $3 trillion. Yeah, so we've got, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. And I'm not afraid like they're going to come here and find me in San Francisco for talking on this little cable access show. And if they do, well, it was my time. I love you. Take dominion of your life. Namaste. Thank you. Om Mare Padme Hum. Let's see what we got here. So long.